Hi, today I want to talk about taking really small steps in recovery versus just going for it and going all in. Both of these approaches could possibly get you to full recovery, but when you go all in, you leave less chance for the eating disorder to deter you or to cause you to change your mind. Oftentimes, I think that we don't fully understand how much it takes to recover. And I don't just mean food, but just how much discipline and how much attention you need to give to these commitments that you're making in recovery in order to get there. So sometimes what I'll see, and this is what I did for a really long time before I fully recovered, before my last attempt at recovering, all the previous ones, is that I would make little changes. They felt huge though, so I don't want to belittle these changes that you're making that are pro recovery are awesome, but I would make these little changes, like I would have an extra serving of oatmeal for breakfast, or I would add a banana for a snack, or I would have a tiny bit more peanut butter. I thought these little changes, each time I ate was monumental. But this last attempt at recovery that I had was very different. I went all in. I just decided, you know what? I'm doing this. No more beating around the bush, no more adding in little tiny things here and there, because I was still starving and it wasn't rewiring my brain. It allowed me to still maintain control of the eating disorder. Maybe I gained a little bit of weight, but nothing else really changed. And so when you go all in, you kind of force yourself to rewire your brain, because you have to actually show your brain that you can do these things and that you can eat large amounts of food and that you honor that full hunger that you have. Another thing with extreme hunger, if that's something that you're having or something that's going on in your recovery, is when you're really, really hungry and you're adding a banana and you're adding, a slice of bread extra and maybe a tiny bit more oatmeal, that is not going to touch your hunger. That's not going to do anything, even for someone who's not in extreme hunger. It's not going to do a lot to help them to feel more satisfied. And so I think we underestimate how much food it really takes in recovery, because your body is really, really hungry. And I don't really care if you're underweight. I really don't. If you have a restrictive eating disorder, you're likely underweight. It doesn't matter what size you are. It really doesn't. So oftentimes I hear a lot, especially from clients, well, but I'm not that, I'm not even underweight right now. I'm at where my body wants to be. Well, you're not at where your body wants to be because you're still heavily restricting. So you're in denial, and that's okay, but we need to work on that. We need to kind of get through that barrier, because if you're restricting, you're not at the weight that you want to be, that your body wants to be. And that's a really hard pill to swallow. Nobody wants to face that or have to address that. And so they try to do all these other approaches to recovery without actually having to go through the steps of eating unrestrictedly. So this is just your friendly reminder that you have permission to eat as much as you want. I'm working with a client right now whose dietitian has kind of given her a meal plan, but when she asks her how much of something she should eat, she'll actually give her a number, yeah, you should have 1 or 2 of those. And when people typically ask me how much they eat, my answer is, how much do you want to eat? That's really the only answer, is how much does your body want to eat? That's the only place you need to look is your body. You don't need to get approval from a dietitian or even from me or your coach you're working with. You have full permission to eat, and you need to give yourself that full permission, because that's how you build a sustainable recovery. So please, as you're going into this weekend, think about really going all in and ask yourself, are you really doing that? Or are you taking tiny little baby steps, which again are better than nothing? I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that. Are you taking little baby steps, or are you just going for it? Sometimes baby steps will allow us to have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. When you have 1 foot in and 1 foot out, that foot that's in usually wins. You hop back in. So you got to get both feet out as fast as you can and just take off. So that's my motivation for you tonight. Okay, thanks.